So one of the things that Seth has been doing is going around and filling all the excess holes in the firewall, welding, putting plugs in it, welding it solid, and then putting a little bit of filler over to make it straight. We just don't want a bunch of holes that we're not going to use. It just looks awful. So that's what's going on right here. Also, the cab had some rust through up here in the top, around the drip rail, on the front, and on this other side. Also, he had cut this out and fabricated a little piece and welded it in, and he's got it smoothed out. We're pretty much ready for primer on that. Got a couple of little dings and dents in the roof that we got to take out, but it's coming along real good. We'll be shooting primer on this thing for too long. Okay, we got a whole menagerie of dollies and hammers and vice grips and all kinds of stuff laying here. So what I'm going to do, when you're fixing a dent, you try to determine how it happened, and you try to reverse that. And so I'm going to just little by little start taking this down with a wide pair of pliers here, and start pulling that back and get it roughed into shape, and then we'll start hammering and dollying this out. We've got a pretty good crease right here. It's kind of a funky one, so I'm going to use my porta power in there to push this one out. So here's how I'm going to do it. It's taking a little bit to a time. I'm going to start bending this back. Pretty much exactly the opposite of what somebody else had done when they pulled it out here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this lip here because it's pretty creased right there, and I'm going to soften that up a little bit. Then I'm going to get my porta power in behind here and start pushing, and then I'll hammer and dolly it as I get it really close. Just got to get that going the right direction here. Okay, hold it a second. Okay. She's tight. This is a tough one right here. Sometimes you got to get a little creative. This old metal is tough, man. But it was kind of a bad kink too, so hang on. I gotta eat my Wheaties here. It's starting to come around. Little by little. Okay, now I got to get in here and get this part right here out. don't have a lot of room to swing. I said it's like beating on a kettle drum. Wow, she's noisy in there. Getting closer. It's hard to get back in this corner. I need to get right in there from the inside. Not a lot of room to swing it. Getting close. Sticking out just a little bit right here. Sometimes you got to be a contortionist. Okay. Okay, we're still in right here. Let me see if I can get that out. We're pretty close right here. I've got a little bit more dialing in to do, but it's really close. So what I'm going to do is come up here and start working this. I'm going to put my porta-power in behind here with this flat edge on it. And I'm going to start working that back as I go back towards the back of the truck and hammer and dollying this and get this edge to lay down because it's right now it's really rolled out. So there again, a little bit at a time. I'm going to put a little extra pressure on that. I'm going to start hammering it. Okay, I'm kind of slapping it down as I'm doing it. Because it's the way it's rolled out, if I just hit on the edge, it's going to flatten out this rounded edge. So I need it to kind of pull down as I'm hitting it, so I'm slapping it, and that helps it move down a little bit. When I get this close, then I'll excuse me, I'll stop and I'll put a hammer or a dolly up in there and dolly this flat. Too much dust. Okay, slap it. Now we're making progress. Okay, so you can see how this is still rolled. how it's swooped out, and now you can see how this is starting to come around. It's not there yet, but it's getting close, okay? So I'm going to keep slapping this and get this pulled down clear back to about here, and then I'll take my dolly and start working this out up here. So here we go. I'm going to slap it some more. I'm going to slap it silly. It's got a flat foot, a little oval flat footed on it, so I'm getting that flat edge right up in behind this on the top. See, Rome wasn't built in a day, and this thing isn't moving real fast either, but we're getting it. Just always a little bit to the time. That's how you'll be successful. If you try to move too much at once, you'll mess it up. If you do it too much to a time, you're going to stretch it really bad. It's already stretched, so you want to just do little bits to a time, just in increments, and you'll be a lot more successful that way. Why are you holding your ears, Daniel?
Oh, no, I got I don't want dust getting in it. Yeah,
oh, dust.
Yeah,
that's it.
A lot of dust.
Man, I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was coughing earlier. I had a lot of dust coming off this thing.
Has nothing to do with you pounding metal right next to the right side of my head. Smash.
We're almost there. See how this had that flat foot? So this edge right here, I was keeping it right on this crown up here. So I've got a little dent up here I'm going to have to take out, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, I'm going to start taking these few of these small guys out right in through here. The back side. Right there. Okay, it's all about what dolly you use. Rely on feel, not by sight. I walk by faith, not by sight.
Come on.
Because I can feel it a lot better than I can see it sometimes. It's a little low right there. Stretch it a little bit more. It's got a kink right in through here. I'm going to hammer that down while I got pressure on it. Got my horseshoe dolly up in behind here. I'm going to lay it, I'm going to hammer it down a little bit. Sweet. I'm gonna just Now I'm putting the heel of that porta power down in through here. Just getting a little bit of pressure on it. Hear the difference. You can tell when I'm hitting a good piece of it's good and firm in behind it. You'll hear it ring harder. Okay, We got a guest that just showed up. He's going to use the booth and spray some Harley parts, clear coat him over, put all the artwork he's done on it. Mr. Chase.
Hey, how we doing?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
Fixing to do some pinstriping or just paint?
I'm just doing a little bit of clear coat on a set of tins and some tanks for a local guy here in Gallatin.
Cool.
See what I'm talking about? A little bit at a time. It's really time consuming, but pays off in the end. You won't have a lot of filler in this thing. If it was this new cheap stuff that they got out from overseas, we would not have this success. I promise you, we'd be throwing it out in the heat pile out there. This is good 18 gauge and it's good and solid metal yet. It's not rusted, it's good solid, so that's why we're having so much success with it. Okay, I'm using a shrinking hammer quite a bit on this, and all these little dimples in there, they'll kind of help to shrink the metal a little bit as I'm hitting it, slapping it, whatever. It just kind of softens it up a little bit. Then I'll go back with my other hammer and kind of finish it out a little bit better. We're real close here now. I'm going to start working this bottom lip right in here. I'll put my dolly up in here, the flat edge, and start working this stuff. My workout, I didn't even have to go to the gym today, man. Yarr. I did really good last year. I went down there and I bought a membership. I never went once. Just wrong. Just wrong. Okay. Whew. Got my fingers. Well, I almost brought what? I guess, what do you think?
I think that's amazing. Comment below, what do you think? Wow, that's incredible. It doesn't even look like the same side, man.
That's pretty good, kids. Pretty good. All right, let me get my 5-inch grinder. I'm just going to skim over that real lightly.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to lightly skim over this with my grinder and see what shows up. There you go, kids. It's pretty doggone good. Just take a very little skim coat of filler to get that thing straight. It's pretty straight right now. You can look down the side of it and it's not too bad.
Close us out of here, Paul.
Hey, thanks for watching, man. We really appreciate it. I hope you learned something. I didn't put a timer on it, but it's probably, what, an hour and 15 minutes or so, probably to get that straight. But it's just going to take a very little skim coat of filler to get it. It's extremely close. There's no bad warbles in it at all. And it was pretty toasted. But so just remember, just do it little bits at a time. Hammer and dolly, and just take your time, and you can get it. It beats a gallon of Bondo in there. I'll see you next time on the Body and Soul Shop. Thanks again, man.